There's been some talk about some recent updates in concussion detection technology, so let's talk about it. My name is Hillary. I'm a licensed and certified speech language pathologist who specializes in concussion and cognitive rehabilitation. So this update is that they now are having athletes wear mouth guards that can detect force and ideally alert if there has been a force that was sustained that kind of crossed the threshold to cause a concussion. There's a couple very positive things about this. So number one, it's like an in the moment tracking. If no one saw it, if the person didn't report symptoms or didn't report that it happened, you can kind of be like, yes, it did. And two, it can also kind of track the amount of subconcussive blows over time. When we're talking about CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, we're talking about not just how many concussions have you had, but also just how many hits have you had at high enough forces to just over time accumulate and potentially cause these tau proteins to tangle up in your brain, which is where CTE comes from. So very positive things. It's really coming out in the rugby world right now. So it's pretty exciting. Some of them have visual where there's like a light that comes on if there's a hit. Some of them have to have connection and it gets alerted to someone within the stadium or wherever they're playing so that they can kind of like take the person out of the field. There are some negatives, there are some drawbacks. So first of all, there is the potential of false positives and false negatives. So it could be you had a hit, it didn't actually cause a concussion, and it led to you kind of being taken off the field, and I can see that players would not love that, even though it is for their safety. You can also have a false negative where there was a hit that would have either had the force to sustain a concussion or had caused a concussion, and it did not show up. So there's that. There's connection issues. So there sometimes could be a delay, especially if it's a Bluetooth thing and it has to go from one place on the field to another place. There might be a delay with that. So it's not necessarily going to be in like immediately. Some players may not like the mouth guards. They may have never worn mouth guards, or they don't like this specific fit of mouth guard, or they have things like braces or something where it just doesn't work for them, and so they won't have the benefit. And then it's also quite costly. So having every single player on a field where these could be quite expensive to implement. But I like where their heads are at, pun intended right there, where they're working to try to figure out what can help these players maintain safety across still playing, but maintain good brain functioning.